Let's talk to Rakib Ehsan, political commentator. He wrote a piece this week about Sadiq Khan, who was knighted yesterday by King Charles. And apparently, according to Sadiq Khan, and I refuse to call him Sir Sadiq Khan, by the way, according to Sadiq Khan, King Charles said to him, I'm sorry it's taken us so long to do this. For heaven's sake. He obviously doesn't drive around London very much. Rakib, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. Long time no speak.
Yeah, I know. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm sorry, but I can't say anything good about Sadiq Khan. I've got nothing good to say, so I'm just going to let you talk and see what you make of it all.
Well, I authored a piece yesterday for the Telegraph on Sadiq Khan's knighthood, and I think what it really shows is that we don't have a New Year's honours of integrity,
Right.
And I think that there's so many eyebrow raising choices for these honours, and I think that many people will find this knighthood of Sadiq Khan thoroughly unpalatable,
Yeah.
especially Londoners who are only too familiar with the wave of youth knife crime, especially in areas which are suffering from a fatherlessness epidemic, which is being exploited by predatory, violent gangs. I can't say that the quality of public transportation in London is especially high.
Right.
And I think that you just see that there's just so many parts of London where there's this rampant shoplifting,
Yeah.
which is affecting high streets. So the question is, in terms of deserving a knighthood, is that really the case here?
Well, I was going to ask you, what actually did he get it for? I mean, because normally they say for services to, I don't know, broadcasting or, services to charitable works or whatever. What did he actually get it for?
Mike, he got it for political and public service.
What?
It's for political and public service, which is absolutely remarkable, because I think in order to be given a knighthood on the basis of political and public service, that really should be about tackling the hard issues, especially those on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Many of those issues will be connected to law and order. You think that if a mayor of a major city is given an award of that nature, then that would ultimately about performing well in that particular role.
Right.
And I think that if you look at Sadiq, I'll make this point, Mike, is that all too often he's been guilty of international showboating, scrapping with the President of the United States, intervening in issues such as Roe v. Wade,
Yeah.
abortion rights in the United States.
Right.
Very surprised he has the time to do all this.
Well, exactly right. He also doesn't answer questions. We've seen plenty
No.
of footage, haven't we, from when Susan Hall used to be the leader of the Conservative Party, and now we see it with the Reform member who asks quite a lot of questions in what they call Mayor's Question Time. And he's really rude to everybody, and he doesn't answer any questions,
Remarkably.
and he's really sort of indignant about being asked to sort of justify anything that he does. He's a typical little short narcissist who basically doesn't get along with any kind of criticism about him at all.
No, he doesn't cope with criticism very well. And I think I've seen many of these sessions in the London Assembly. He does come across as rude. Now, he's not the only politician that fails to provide straightforward answers to questions. But I think he has a very dismissive nature. And I think that it's not a very constructive approach to politics.
No.
And I think that when you're looking at people who are given knighthoods, you'd want politicians that are able to provide straightforward answers and are quite transparent in their role. They're more deserving of that, in my view.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the comments underneath your piece on the Telegraph. First one says, obnoxious man. Another one says, I wonder how the late Queen would have handled this. Just looking at him makes me feel sick. The arrogance of the little toad, saying the King apologised to him for keeping him waiting. They basically, nobody's got anything good to say about him. I mean, I don't know anyone. This is a real mystery. I don't know anyone who votes for him. And yet he keeps winning elections.
Mike, I've made this point before, that it's a myth that the Mayor of London is popular in the capital. If you actually look at the turnout and the number of votes he receives, it's around 1 in 5 Londoners vote for him, if that.
Yeah.
In his mayor elections.
Well, I think
always
it was something like only about 20% of voters actually voted in the last election, didn't they?
Well, in terms of actually look at the turnout and then the amount of votes that he receives, it's only a minority of Londoners that actually vote for Sadiq Khan. And
I think that's the right figure. I think it's 20% of Londoners that have actually voted for him rather than 20% of the electorate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that the point to make, I've always made this point, if the Conservatives took a more optimistic and positive approach to these mayoral elections in London and actually put up a candidate which in my view is a more professional and impressive candidate, then I think that they'll actually find some joy in London. If you see in recent times, especially when it comes to local elections, some of the most encouraging results for the Conservatives have been in the capital. So I think they should look at the capital as a place where they could find electoral success in the future.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, he can't serve another term, can he?
Well, I wouldn't put anything past this man.
I wouldn't. But I mean, technically speaking, he's not meant to, right?
No. But I think that the real issue here is that we've had, and by the way, another point to make, he is technically the Police and Crime Commissioner for the capital as well, and the co-governor of Met Police, along with the Home Secretary, who's currently Yvette Cooper. I think for me that this is a classic case of someone who has been electorally successful. I think that's more of a flaw of the system, and the fact that he hasn't had much in the way of electoral competition in these contests.
That's the problem. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how he's managed it. I really don't. He should get a prize for being some kind of magician, I think. Rakib, very good to talk to you. Must have you on sooner than the last time. Rakib Ehsan, political commentator there, wrote a piece in the Telegraph saying, this man does not deserve to be knighted. How on earth could it have happened?